This is the YouTube edition of my book, A Course in Miracles Workbook Nuggets, which is a study aid for the course's workbook for students. I'll begin by reading my book's commentary on today's lesson over a visual of the book's text. I'll then return with some further thoughts on the lesson, which are only included in this YouTube edition of my book. Today's lesson is part of a 10-lesson group that runs from lesson 331 through lesson 340, each of which relates to the ego as understood in the course. I'll be repeating this same introduction for each of lessons 331 through 340, so you can skip past this introduction in the future if you like. Timestamps taking you directly to today's Workbook Nuggets commentary and my further comments are provided in the description below. In the course, the ego is our belief that we are separate and limited bodies with independent minds and wills. The ego is not a real entity, but an illusory, mistaken identity that we believe to be us. The introduction, which precedes these 10 lessons, tells us that, quote, "To know reality is not to see the ego," end quote. Today's lesson from my book and my further thoughts, which are only contained in this YouTube edition of the book, follow. A link to the book on Amazon.com is provided below. Lesson number 333, November 29. Forgiveness ends the dream of conflict here. Forgiveness is the central concept of the Course. A key to understanding and applying forgiveness, as defined and used by the Course, is to forget everything you thought you understood and knew about the term. The ordinary definition is not what the Course means by forgiveness, not even close. I often think that it would have been helpful if another term or phrase was used. Perhaps something like, quotes, "seeing beyond your current perception to the reality beneath," end quotes. But the longer I work with the Course, the more I realize that each and every word was carefully chosen and perfectly used. How could the same not be true of what is arguably the most important word in the entire Course? Forgiveness is the perfect term. Someday, I will recognize that. The title of today's lesson is Forgiveness Ends the Dream of Conflict Here. One of the best descriptions of forgiveness given in the Course is the idea that forgiveness is the realization that there is nothing to forgive. Forgiveness is seeing through the surface illusion of conflict to the reality beneath. It sees only love, or at worst, a call for love. In the illusion which we call our life, or the world, we see separate people and things, all with different interests, and often in conflict. The Course is training you to see an underlying unity where no conflict exists because all is one. Forgiveness is the word the Course uses for this new way of seeing. For years, I didn't understand why another word was not chosen, a different word to capture the new and subtle overtones the Course gives to the word forgiveness. But now I see that forgiveness is the perfect word. When something is truly forgiven, even under the common usage of the term, the event is no longer of any import or even existence. It has no further effect on your relationship with the applicable people. It is no longer real to you in the sense of having any impact or importance. Well, that is what the Course is teaching us to do with respect to the illusion. The entire illusion, which we call our everyday world. The illusion simply disappears, and reality, which has always been there patiently waiting for us to wake, can finally show through.